Good morning, Joki Mohoho and AP Matere. What a great honor for me to be speaking to these two great, amazing, award-winning ladies. I admire you two very, very much, and I'm very privileged and honored to have you sitting here with me today. And me being on this other side where you guys usually are asking the questions and directing and saying action and name it. Karibuni sana. So as I had mentioned, we are doing this for the International Women's Day. I love this year's theme, which is let's break the bias. And International Women's Day is a global day celebrating historical, cultural, and political achievements. This day is observed in support of taking action against inequality around the world. So Epic Lorraine Life Events has chosen to celebrate this day with mentors and mentees. And I know both of you are like, what? Who would be calling me their mentee or their mentor, But I've loved your journey, both of you. And I would love the world to get to hear about your journey. So Joki, the mentor, who doesn't think she's a mentor? We appreciate the efforts, you have put in and paved way for many, many others. And I just wanted you to say a quick word about Epi Matere.
Where do I begin? Do you have like 2 hours for that? I believe my relationship with AP, let's first define AP. She's one of the top, if not the top producer in East Africa, I would say so. East Africa, not just Kenya, because she's done more TV series, more episodes than anybody else I know. And she knows film industry on the ground a great deal. And she's also one of the most popular trainers at the Multi-Choice Talent Factory, which is a Multi-Choice Film Academy, of which I am the immediate past academy director. So I also know Epi as a producer, as a facilitator, and also as a friend. My relationship with AP began when I came back from having taken a sabbatical from my consultancy career to do filmmaking in Hollywood. And I came back and I was awarded one of the biggest, maybe the first biggest high-ed drama series to be in charge of, that is being an executive producer. And I had everything in theory and everything. And I needed to recruit the crew. And the first person that was recommended to me was AP. And I always repeat this. When AP and I met, she told me, oh, what you're saying is fantastic, but let me show you how we do it on the ground. Thus, a relationship began. That was more than maybe 15 years ago, and we're still going. And we're probably the first two, I would say, big producers to partner and work together, because we got to know each other at the time when there was a lot of backstabbing of producers, and there wasn't that partnerships where you get to do more by synergizing. So we continue to do so. We continue to support each other. So I guess that is a brief on AP. Otherwise, you should have given me 2 hours.
Fantastic. That's very well done, Joki, for keeping it really brief. And I love that you've really, gone into what I was going to ask Epi in terms of who is Joki to you, and how has she, especially in the film industry, and what she's just alluded to in terms of the animosity, the hatred, and the old saying that women don't support each other. But where I have sat watching from the outside, the two of you, it's been remarkable just seeing the synergies you two bring together on the table. You call out each other on so many things, and then you're having a glass of wine later, and I'm thinking those two nearly killed each other at one point, and here they are cheersing later on this evening. And it's really, and I really wish many women can look at that and see it's all about work. This is not personal. You may be my elder in terms of film industry and in terms of moving and directing, but here I am now, having watched you and having stood on your shoulders, but even you now can listen to me. And Epi, what can you say about Joki as far as that is concerned?
Oh my goodness. Wow, you should have given us these questions earlier.
No way. No prepping. Hakuna Mwakenya.
Really cautious. I'm like, oh my goodness. So what do you say? What do you not say? For me, I'll just go back when I met Joki and came flamboyant from UCLA with all the American terms. I looked at this girl and I was like, what is wrong with this girl now? Then she thinks this is going to work here. So I listened to her, then I told her, now you see all that you said. Yeah? People said, let me show you how to do work. And it took a lot of guts because, I mean, she was more mature in terms of age for me. She had a better career in terms of management from out of film. Because now when I was told I'm going to work in Jockey, I found out who she was. And then here I am, I'm sitting and listening and thinking, oh my God, this cannot work. Then you have to have the guts to tell this person who is your senior, this is not going to work. Let me show you how it works. She looked at me and she said, okay, let's do this. And from that, we created that rapport and that relationship. So when it came to film, I guided her and I showed her. But then there's a part that she played in my life that is very crucial. Because now I was such a film person, I just concentrated on film. And then Jockey sat me down and said, now you need to think about your life, your future. And now that's when she started now coaching me about life issues, management, and that's, I made a lot of decisions. And when I tell people, like, I made a lot of decisions, at one particular time, I think I was Jockey, we were doing season 3 of Changes, and I think you had a career chat with me. And that's when I made a decision, because now she asked me, how long are you going to be hired? And I thought, wait, I can actually start. That's actually I started my own production company, because she challenged me. I remember asking me then, when are you planning to start having a family? And I thought, wait a minute. You can talk to me about family, and you know, that's how I started having a family, because now she challenged me to get into that space. Yes, I was good at my work, but then she challenged me. You're good at your work, but you're not there yet. You need to start thinking beyond just being a producer. And that is the most amazing thing. And from that, we've been able to work together. There's a time I remember we went for a party and Jockey said, we've hired each other. There's a time I had Jockey to be executive producer with me when we were doing the 71 movies. And then she had hired me on Changes. And now we are collaborating together. So people don't really understand our relationship. Currently, like now the job she's doing, everybody thinks it's Appy's job. Then no, it's Jockey's job. Then no, it's a collaboration between the two of them. So people are confused about this relationship. They're really confused. How are you guys working together? And being women in the industry, especially that time when we joined, there was a lot of backstabbing. And having a relationship over 15 years later, it's not easy. It takes a lot of people, who are ready to take criticism positively. So when you criticize each other, they're like, yeah, that one was hard, but and I hear you. So can I buy you a glass of wine so that we can resolve this issue? And we've been able to go through those elements. You know, there's some things that somebody will tell you about, like, yeah, that's below the belt. And I'm like, I'll never talk to her. That one, she thinks she's what? Then you sit back and you're thinking, and Jockey can never lie to you. Let me think about it. When you think about it, then you have a glass of wine, you work it out, and we help each other with that. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yes. And like I was saying, I've had a front row seat to watch both of you. And I am honestly admire you both a lot. And I've kept saying, I wish I have a mentor, somebody I look up to that level where, you know, you call each other out on everything. Jockey, what would you say then, with your many years of experience, is one of the areas that we fail as women in terms of nurturing each other, in terms of, you know, creating the platform that you've created for Epi and many other women, such that now Epi is able to be in a position, and I'll ask this to Epi later, to be able to pave the same way for other people. What do you think ails us, or why do you think we fail? That for you, 15 years later, somebody who, you know, you came back and said, I can work with this young lady and nurture her and see her growth. What do you think ails us, Jockey?
If I can use the experience of meeting Epi, when we met, we were contrasts. Age, our background, our work, and everything. Like I said, like she said, we met when I already had lots of years in consultancy, and having started film as a hobby, and then gone on and trained in Hollywood, and then coming back and getting a local production, a big local production. Where we go wrong mainly as women is, one, not respecting and verbalizing, I admire you in this. You are better than me in this. That is problem number one. I belong to to, like, let's say some clubs that I belong to, sports clubs, social clubs, and you can see that women spend all the time, even in just ordinary conversation, in what they order, in what they say, to show each other, I'm way above you. You know, I've got this and you don't have. I can't stand that, Lorraine, you know? Because even the woman who sells nyanyas, tomatoes by the side of the road, there is something she knows that you, the executive woman, do not know. And you cannot even do her job with half the success that she does it. And I mean selling tomatoes as a hawker, you know? So where we go wrong is assuming because I'm a success in one thing, I'm the alpha and the omega in everything. Yeah, that is the first thing. 2, deciding because I was born in this family, or because I went to this kind of school, because I had this kind of upbringing, because I have this many degrees, or because I belong to this family or that family, that I am superior to everybody else. I mean, such women, I feel like saying, shame on you. That is nothing you had anything to do with. So can you show us more of what it is you have gained? Yeah. So I'm known for not having patience with shop talk. I get bored very, very easily. Maybe I'm too intense a person, but every time I meet anybody, I'm always asking myself, what can I learn from them? Because growing is a journey. And as I grow older, I tell myself, each day I ask myself, what new thing did I learn today? I'm not going to learn it from reading anymore, because when I say reading anymore, there's just no time to take a book and read. Why do I want to read when I have so many people around me? A 5-minute conversation, I've read a whole textbook. So that, I don't know that I've answered your question, but let me stop there.
No, you really have. And I love that, you know, it's the acknowledging of I am better than you. I could be younger than you. I may not be as experienced as you, but guess what? This girl, everybody said Epi is the person to work with. You know, you may have come with your Hollywood achievements, but vitu kwa ground tofauti. What do they say? Vitu kwa ground different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ground. Yes.
Exactly. So Epi, you know, same question addressed to you, because you were this young girl from Bere. You've stood on shoulders of mighty women such as Njoki. And, and, you know, because you stood on their shoulders, you've learned so much. It's not that you studied film, you know, you studied it under, you know, some of these great women that you, like I've said, you stood on their shoulders. And for you now, I wonder, what is that big lesson that you learned that is now making you pave way? Because I've watched you, you know, mentor other people. You're now teaching, like Njoki said, you're teaching at the academy. What is this that, you know, you're bringing forth, and what is it that was instilled in you that you're passing forward, paying it forward?
The one thing that I've been lucky about, and I say that to everyone, I've been lucky that I've only worked with women. And every woman I've worked with, have had a relationship with. So when I even started my career, even when I started off my marketing years, I worked under women. And the first women I worked with, I realized, wait a minute, any women can work together, because our 2 sisters used to work together. Any 2 women can work together and can have a relationship. And there was no shouting match, and there was no backstabbing, and there was no small talk in the office. So I admired that a lot. So when I left marketing and I joined film, I came with that. And I said, for me in my life, I want to be that woman who will grow up. Like Njoki says, we really have small talks. I mean, those are things that if you start small talks, they'll be like, okay, sir. And if anything I say, I will be able to repeat it in front of that person. Half the time I usually say, I'll say the things that I can repeat in front of this person. So I remember at that particular time, I was like, I want to be a different person. So when you join the industry, because I didn't join and work with Njoki first, I joined the industry, then I found a lot of nastiness. That was at that particular, that generation, there was a lot of nastiness. There was a lot of putting down. There was a lot of abuse words that were being used at that particular time. And I kept feeling I can make a difference. I can be that woman who is different, who will run this different, because it was always like, producers, they're always nasty, they're always, and when you're referred to as producers who are always nasty, you're like, oh, me, I'm not nasty, I don't want to be nasty. So by the time I was working with Njoki, I'd come from a place where I'd gotten the experience of extremely nasty, nasty experiences. And for me, I wanted now to carry on and say, it can be different. So by the time I'm meeting Njoki, I'm telling her, our ground is different, let's work. But then how she brought now, the one thing she brought in was the management side, which I did not have. So I had experience in running a set, but then I did not have experience in terms of management. So what I did is like now I've started observing her. She didn't even know that time. I used to observe her. I look at how she's talking in meetings. I'm like, noted. I see how she's running noted. So that particular time I was picking in a lot. Remember now, Lorraine, I came from Bere. This girl had no background in film, no background in management, no background in meeting all these high-end people, nothing, as green as she is. How else can you gain experience? You have to observe. And I decided I would be observant and I will leave. You know, you're almost going to the mirror and practicing how this person was speaking so that you can now live their life. So I used to observe quite a lot. I used to listen quite a lot. And when she makes, at times I used to call her and tell her, this is a decision I made. Then she would ask me very crucial questions in between. Why is it that you made that decision? After making that decision, where do you think in 2 weeks you will be? I'm like, okay, I didn't think that far. I thought out of my emotions. So at that particular time is when I started realizing, wait, don't think out of emotions. You have to think, you have to look at the bigger picture and think through the decisions that you're making in terms of production. And that's not the most important thing that I picked from Joki. Joki does not make decisions of her emotions. She drives him nuts because she takes forever to make a decision. You want to beat her, you want to look like, if she was a sponsor, I'd look for a cane and beat her and be like, why are you taking so long? But now, at the end of it, you realize that the reason why she took long to make that decision is because she had to think through the process and the outcomes 10 years later, 1 year later. What is the decision that you made? So Joaquin made me now stop thinking emotionally because I was an extremely emotional human being. I would make my decisions emotionally. If I are on the spot, don't think about the shoot tomorrow. But then now with time, then I started realizing, wait, take time to think about it. So for me, paving way is now looking at how do we impact, and this is to women a lot. And I think because I've worked with women and they've given me an opportunity to grow, women who are mature, who are more experienced, who have a better background than me, they gave me the opportunity to grow and to mature. For me, it's also looking at the same thing. If I was given a chance, why would I not give a chance to another woman then?
In fact, I keep thinking you too, a study should be done, like a PhD, somebody who needs a study to do, because then you've come full circle. You've worked together. One has mentored the other one, and now you're a full circle where you're both working together, where somebody is a producer for the other, where somebody is looking out for knowledge from the other, and in this case, in Joki, it could be you looking up to Epi and saying, "I need guidance on this." It could be now you, Epi, saying, "I'm offering my guidance to this." And honestly, while we laugh about it, I really think a study should be done on you two, in particular, about the full circle moment that you've done. And so, Joki, I wonder, even as we talk about gender equality, do you reckon then that we will have a world free of bias and stereotypes? And even in your film industry, do you reckon that we're getting to a day where we shall actually see a gender equality happening in our lifetime?
Lorraine, you are asking the wrong person this, because I grew up in an environment where it didn't matter whether you're male or female. Mm-hmm. So throughout my career, it never occurred to me, I'm female and the other one is male. Is this work to be done? And you do the work. To me, it's the brain, And because that's the way I was brought up, we're brought up with total equality at home, not just gender, but also age. Even at a young age, I realized I was being forced to do things if I did something badly and the quality of work was not good, even if it's housekeeping work, house chores, and the excuse that I was the youngest and I can't do as well as my big sister, that will give me a whooping. Maybe even if I'm not whipped, I will be given that task again and again till I get it right, The excuse that I'm younger, I'm a girl, I'm older, maybe that's why I grew up as a tomboy, because I am a real tomboy. Having said that, I'll give you the first probably real serious TV interview I had was very many years by another person who stayed good friends, Jimmy Gathu. He used to have a program on KTN called What It Takes. And he was interviewing me the day before I drove myself to Tanzania to start a branch of our office. And I was literally going there by road. I was driving myself to Dar es Salaam. And Jimmy asked me, one last question, Joki. How did you manage working in a male-dominated environment? This was consultancy work. Consultancy during my days, those early days, if you mentioned consultant, people thought of male, white, older. 3 things I wasn't, and I wasn't going to do anything about. And I still remember up to this day, nearly 30 years later, I still remember the shock of the question and the way I responded. I simply looked at him and I said, hey, I never thought of myself as a woman. There was just a job to be done, and I did the job. Now, unlike what Lorraine, you might not know, is that while in film industry, most producers are ladies, for me working in consultancy, I've been in the male world all the time. Most of the organizations I work with, the CEOs are men. Right now, I do a lot of work with boards, especially prostate boards. They are all men. Literally, I think I've only worked with one lady chair for the very many years. So in a way, for me, it doesn't matter the gender. I remember that time, Jimmy, and many times in my life, I've been asked, how do you deal with discrimination? I guess is what you're calling it, the inequality. Lorraine, I don't notice it. Why should I notice it? I'm so busy doing my work. So if you have a problem, I'm a woman, deal with your problem. Because I don't have a problem. So that's why I'm saying I might be the wrong person to ask, because I don't notice it. Because if I notice it, I'll go, whoa, yeah, that one has a problem. While they say to themselves, me, I'm gone. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's how I am, I will never use a phrase, are you doing this to me because I'm a woman? That means you've already accepted an inferior position.
Absolutely.
Instead, I would say, are you doing this to me because you're intimidated by my intelligence? Go get some intelligence, then you can bring yourself at my power,
Yeah.
So I never notice whether it's male or female. And if a room is full of men, when I walk in, I'll know for sure then I am noticed more than any other audience, because I'm the only one out here. One time, as a very young and skinny little girl, I was running a workshop that was so high level that the expatriate director even called me the night before and said, I don't know whether you survive this crowd. They're not used to having women, leave alone young ones like you. What I did, I walked in a few minutes after they were seated deliberately. I left the door open and I said, good morning, gentlemen. I understand you're not used to having a woman stand in front of you. I'm okay with that, and I fully understand. Anybody who has a problem, I've left the door open. I will pause so that you can walk out. They said, now that you haven't walked out, can we begin? And they said, oh, yes, let's begin. So it's how you carry yourself. True. If you go with a warrior thing, because I'm a woman, because you have an issue because you are a woman, me, I don't have.
I love that. And you have, absolutely. And I'm glad that you've said it as confidently as you have. Not that I'd expect anything otherwise from you, Njoki. and for me, it is, last week I was interviewing 2 software engineers, and I asked the same question. And one of them again looked at me in shock and said, I am a software engineer, then a woman. So when I sit in that room, I am there not as a woman, but as a software engineer. And I was like, you go, girl. I really wish we'd get more women to have that confidence. So then this whole idea of I want to sit at the table or pull me a chair at the table, then will slowly be eliminated, or the whole idea of being inclusive. But we still can't ignore it because it has been a problem, where we have been overlooked time and time again. Epi, the same question to you. And yes, I realize now that, the film industry is governed really by women. Power to you, ladies. Yes.
So I joined the industry when it was all women. We've always worked with women. So at that point, I think also, like, there's one time when I was asked a question about there's U2 movement. There was a time there was a lot of U2 movement at that particular time.
2 years ago.
They called me and said, can you do an interview about U2 movement? And I kept telling them I'm the wrong person because I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that, or discrimination in terms of, because when you joined in, it was all women. You became a producer, it was all women. You would just do our jobs. So I've not gone to a place where I've experienced that discrimination. And remember there's a time we did a lot of the earlier years. I remember even as studying, everybody used to go to the festival and everyone used to ask us, so what is it with Kenya that the film industry is all women? Because then it was not only producers, the directors were also women. And everybody was like, we need to come and do a study and find out how is it that it's women who are running the industry.
Sure.
That has since changed now. We have a lot of men coming in as directors. But for years, the industry was run by women. And for me, I've not also experienced the same, not experienced discrimination. It's a job, let's do it.
Fantastic. Yeah. And now finally, ladies, wow, it's an honor, like I said, to have you both, women who shoot straight up. Njoki, what do you know for sure?
What do I know for sure? I know for sure, for certain, 1,000% that there's something I don't know. And I must know. I must widen my world. I must be more open-minded. I must ask questions because there's something there that I need to know that I don't know yet. That's what gets me up in the morning every day.
Brilliant. Love it. Epi Matere, what do you know for sure?
I answered for Njoki, nothing. I'm like, nothing. Just to try and expand it a little bit, I think I know for sure I've not even touched my potential. I've got yet a lot to do. I've not even trained or mentored anyone yet. I think there's more to do. There's more to learn. There's more places to explore. There's more films to be done. There's more stories to be told. There's just still more that we have not even, I think we've not even started. Even Njoki, I don't think we've started. We are yet to start.
No, we haven't started.
We haven't started. We are yet to start.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. You guys are too encouraging.
Let me also add another one on the ego full Njoki. What do I really know? I know I'm happy with me. What's a no? Challenges and no. I am so happy with whatever I am. I'm happy with me, you know? That the best person in the world, it has to start with, it's me, you know? So you don't accept me as the way I am, figure out, you know? That I don't have to adjust myself to make anybody happy. That I know for sure. The other thing I know for sure is any mistakes in my life, they have to be made by me. I cannot rely on anybody else to do it for me. Even a simple thing as which road should I use to go into town? Let me not ask somebody. Let me take that risk myself. So I know when I get stuck in traffic for hours and my back is killing me, it was my decision. And I can take that consequence easier. So I don't want anybody to tell me, why are you doing this? You should do it that way. Why should you tell me how to do it? First, tell me pros and cons. The final decision is mine. I make mistakes, they're mine. I get a bit rude or too blunt and I hurt people. I know I did it myself. So Njoki, take the consequences. I go on my adventurous hikes, whatever. I ruin my back. I break whatever. I took myself there. What's a no? Consequences on a no. So one thing I know for sure is the consequences of my action are my consequences. That's why there must be fully my voluntary actions that I've done, knowing very well, having looked at the pros and the cons. Epi said, I can take a long time to make decisions, yet I enjoy making decisions. It's just that one decision is split into so many little ones, and I'm thinking step by step by step. By the time I make the final one, I have arrived, and Njoki knows what she's doing. So let me do it, you know, and don't try to interfere with it midstream because it had been thought through. So what I know is my successes, my failures are mine. I will not blame anybody. Two, the other thing I know for sure is if I don't know, that means I do my homework and I get to know. Not that I get to ape and copy somebody else. No, I get to know what Joki wants. If it's not clear what Joki wants, then I go to, then what does Joki not want? Use elimination method. If you don't know what it is you want in a certain scenario, look at what it is you don't want. Then you'll be left with fewer things to choose from. Then from there, you will know what you want. So I'm proud being me. I like being me. I don't want to be another person. I just want to be me. And then the world can take it or leave it, to be honest.
Well done. You own it.
Wow.
Own your consequences and your actions. Fantastic. Epi, anything you've thought about that you know for sure that we can add?
No, for me, that I've just taken a lesson there. Really, I've just taken a lesson there.
I know, me too. You know, those ones of I own every decision.
You can finish this recording. I was here for that. I just want to be me. The world to accept me. The mistakes are mine.
This is who you are.
The successes are mine. The failures are mine. I take full responsibility for me. I just want to be me. Me, that's my lesson. You can finish now.
You see, you're always teaching, Joki, and we're always learning, you see? So ladies, the sign for break the bias is this. So could we do the sign for break the bias, even as I read the statement that has been released by the UN? Break the bias means a world free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination. A world that is diverse, equitable, and inclusive. A world where difference is valued and celebrated. I think what Njoki has just talked about. And together we can forge women's equality. Collectively, we can all break the bias.
Break the bias. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lorraine.